Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining us on FB Live today. I am Dr. Aditi Agrawal. I'm a consultant breast and laparoscopy surgeon associated with Apex Group of Hospitals, Mumbai for last 10 years. About myself, I have completed my MBBS and MS both from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences, Sevagram. After that, I had an opportunity to work with Tata Memorial Hospital in breast services, and recently I was lucky just before Corona to get another big opportunity of working at Royal Stroke Hospital in UK at Stoke-on-Trent, where I not only upgraded my surgical skills in terms of the latest breast oncoplasty and reconstruction surgeries, but also about the protocols, treatment protocols which are followed in United Kingdom. Yesterday was 1st July, that is National Doctors Day, and I would like to take this opportunity to not only wish doctors but all our healthcare workers a very happy Doctors Day. Today I feel not just we, everybody in India is a warrior. We are all in some way trying to fight against this new pandemic of Corona. This has not only instilled a lot of fears in our mind, but also in mind of the general public. Today is a new norm where you are seeing everybody wearing a mask, everybody trying to maintain social distancing, number of hand washes have increased, and in fact that is the way forward for us to be and to make our country corona free. Requesting all viewers to please start posting their questions so that we can start answering them. Today, along with Corona, we have to not just win a battle against Corona, but one such battle is also winning against breast cancer in this difficult COVID times. As a matter of fact, we have seen that in India we have crossed a 5 lakh mark of Corona. And as far as breast cancer is concerned, in 2018, our data said that we had somewhere around about 1,62,000 cases. And can you believe that there were 82,000 deaths only with breast cancer? Whereas we are worried so much about Corona, but still our death rates are even less than 20,000. So even though we are seeing so many cases of Corona, as a matter of fact, 85% of them are asymptomatic patients. And among the 15% which are symptomatic also, they may be mild symptomatics. There are mostly the healthcare workers and people who come across in contact with COVID patients have symptoms which will need ventilatory support. As we have a few questions coming, I have Mrs. Madhuri who wants to know, is it compulsory to do COVID test before surgery? I face this question every day when I am doing my OPD consultation. Yes, as a matter of fact, today it is compulsory to test a patient for COVID unless and until it is an emergency surgery. Next part of her question is, she wants to know that if I have to undergo a surgery and if I am tested positive for COVID, will I get operated for the same? If it's an emergency, we are following all protocols and we are operating even COVID positive patients. And if it's not an emergency, then in that case, we would send you to a center which is treating COVID patients. Like here, Apex Borivali East, that is Apex Multi-Speciality at Borivali East, is a non-COVID center. When I say non-COVID center means Apex at Borivali East is not treating COVID positive patients, whereas our 3 centers in Borivali West and a center at Mulund are dedicated COVID centers where all patients who have symptoms related to COVID are being treated. They even have ventilatory support, so even our severe symptomatic patients are getting treated. But Apex multi-speciality at East, we are not admitting any COVID positive patients. We are here treating only patients who have non-COVID related diseases, like one of them may be breast diseases, especially since I deal a lot with breast cancer. My major concern out here is related to breast cancer. I completely forgot to answer question of Madhavi. That is, what would happen if she is tested positive? Breast cancer needs to be treated as soon as possible, but it is not an emergency unless the breast cancer has ruptured. It is a bad looking mass, fungating mass where we are getting foul smell. If that is not the case and a patient tests out to be positive, we have a COVID negative report, we would ask her to go in for isolation. That is for 14 days. She would have to stay at home. After that, we would retest her. If she continues to be COVID negative, then we would be comfortable to operate her. Now, if we are planning to operate such patients, we are following here a lot of protocols. Firstly, when the patient comes to the hospital, we ensure that we are checking their temperature. I am sure all of you are aware of the latest temperature gun which you see every day. We are testing the patient's temperature. Once the temperature is normal, the patient is permitted to come to a non-COVID hospital. All these patients are advised to wear a mask, and even we are requesting them to wear gloves and to avoid touching things anywhere in the hospital or even on their way, as far as possible not to touch stuff. And once we are planning their surgery, after their COVID report comes in as negative, we try to operate these patients within 3 days of a negative report. And once they are giving a sample for COVID testing, we request all our patients not to go out of the house and try to remain in the house until and unless it is necessary. Here at the hospital, all our staff are wearing personal protective kit, which is helping them to protect not just themselves, even to prevent all patients and their adjoining relatives who are accompanying them. As far as possible, the relatives, we are requesting our patients to come only with one relative, that too, if possible, to come with someone who is young and fit. All patients who are suffering from diabetes, who are old cancer patients, who are on dialysis, have chronic lung disorders, we are requesting such patients, such people not to accompany patients, and until and unless necessary, not to visit hospitals. Our protocols have changed. We are not just following up our basic protocols, which we were following before Corona days in treating and managing our patients surgically, but now we have come up with a new set of protocols. Even though our patients are having COVID-19 test negative, as by now all of us are aware, last 3 months all of us have become COVID graduates. After listening to so many webinars, so many media news, we all have good amount of knowledge of COVID. So we are all aware that it's only 60 to 70% of the times that the test is right. So we are ensuring that all our OT personnel, I mean the operating surgeon, the anesthetist who is going to give anesthesia to our patients, besides that, ensuring that everybody is wearing a personal protective kit, everybody is wearing double gloves. We are trying to keep our OT time to minimum. During the surgical procedure, we ensure minimal people to be in the OT. In fact, I can see a few doctors also attending. For their information, I would like to even share that since our breast surgeries are always done under general anesthesia, we are even requesting our patients to gargle with chlorhexidine. Though we don't have clear-cut evidence whether how much that is going to benefit, but even as an antibacterial agent, we are ensuring that the pharynx is clear of infection while our anesthetist intubates, passes a tube through the throat during the surgery. So we are ensuring that, and we are trying to keep our procedures as quick as possible. Even regarding the hospital stay, we are requesting our patients and their relatives, just one relative we are permitting, as far as possible, not to be there in the hospital, to do video consultations with the consultant in case of small issues, and we are trying to discharge our patients quick. We would prefer to discharge our patients on the same day in order to reduce the risk of catching COVID-19 during their hospital stay. And if not possible to discharge on the same day, at least next day we are trying to discharge most of our patients. So a lot of our patients are going home with the drain. Regarding our surgical techniques, we are trying to minimize their visits to the hospital also in terms of dressings. Now most of our patients go home with self-melting sutures, so they don't have to come again and again to the hospital for dressings. We are doing a lot of waterproof dressings. So most of our patients are not visiting the hospital in within a week. I'm ensuring that my patients are coming to a hospital after 7 to 8 days. That would be the day when they would be free of the suture of their dressings. So a lot of our protocols are changing. So Madhuri ji, don't worry. Even if you test out to be COVID positive, you will get operated for sure. Only thing is the surgery might get delayed. So there is a lot of social stigma around. In fact, I happened to meet a pediatric surgeon colleague of mine who asked me that, Aditi, when you're giving this talk on COVID time, please request everyone. We are supposed to maintain social distance and not an emotional distance. A lot of these patients who are being detected COVID positive, they are facing a lot of emotional trauma. They are worried because people are not maintaining social distance, but they are emotionally getting away from them. Nobody wants to talk with them. Nobody wants to supply them with milk. Nobody wants to supply them with other stuff. Their homes are being isolated. Nobody wants to talk with them. Friends, I would just take this opportunity through this live FB session. Please don't distance them. In fact, these are people who are in a vulnerable mental status. We need to help them come out of this situation. And if we are maintaining a social distance, maintaining good hand hygiene, wearing a mask, chances are less that we are going to contract COVID-19. So let's play safe. Another question is, what precautions will you take while operating on me so that nobody gets COVID? I've already replied this question in my discussion before. Another thing is, if I don't operate, what can happen? How will COVID affect me? If you don't operate, you are putting your life at risk. None of us are aware till when COVID is going to stay. We have no answer to when COVID is going to go down. Every day when I come to the hospital, someone in the hospital definitely questions me, Madam, COVID kab khatam hone wala hai? None of us have an answer. Similarly, sitting on a breast cancer is not a good solution, because with every month we are upgrading our stage of breast cancer. In fact, in India, our trends of breast cancer are much different because we have a lot of young population. During this lockdown phase, I have seen patients in the age group of 23-year-old. She's awaiting her COVID report before we operate for her breast cancer. I have seen patients as young as 26 years, 29 years. So what we read and what was our concept that since I'm young, I don't have a risk, nothing holds true. But that does not mean that if you're young, you should get scared that you may be suffering from cancer. In fact, 90% of the times it is not cancer, but it is a benign breast disease. So don't worry on that account. Another question what has come up is, how do I come to know that I have any breast related disorder? Most of the patients who have breast related disorders would either present with pain in the breast, or would, while examining themselves, especially while taking bath, might notice lump in the breast. At times, their undergarments might stain with a discharge which could be white in color, it could be blood stain, that is, it could be red in color. These are something to worry about. Sometimes even patients present to us with other symptoms such as severe backache, sometimes even jaundice, but these are usually late symptoms. But commonest symptom is pain or lump which is accidentally noticed by the patient, or sometimes we even see nipple discharge with which patients present. Another question is asked is, how do we diagnose a breast disorder? Related to breast disorder, we follow a triple assessment where we clinically assess the patient. In this era, a lot of patients want to do video consultations. Here at PEX Group, we are doing a lot of video consultations for initial screening of the patients. But with breast, a lot of times we need to feel the patient's breast physically examine and know if the patient actually has a breast lump or no, or how does it feel. After that, if the patient is less than 40 years, in India we follow a protocol of doing an ultrasound, or what we call as sonography. And if the patient is more than 40 years, then in that case we do something known as an X-ray mammography. A lot of patients have fear related to X-ray mammography. It is a routine X-ray. Only the problem with X-ray plate with during which a person might experience a pain, but this pain is hardly there for 2 seconds. So it's not worth risking our life for a 2-second pain. Once that is done, if we suspect that there is some issue in the mammography or sonography, then we advise the patient to undergo FNAC or a biopsy. FNAC is where we remove some fluid from the breast lump or the lesion, and in biopsy we remove few pieces which are sent for further testing. Biopsy usually takes 5 to 7 days, and it helps us to confirm whether the person has any worrisome lump, in short whether the patient has cancer or no. In fact, FNAC is no longer in vogue. We prefer to screen all our patients with biopsy, which is an outpatient procedure. It would hardly take 15 minutes, and within an hour you can return back. Biopsy not only helps us to confirm whether a person has cancer or no, but it also helps us to know what type of cancer. During this lockdown phase, I have come across a lot of old patients, 70 years old, 80 years old, who were diagnosed on biopsy with breast cancer, and during the initial phase, even we were not aware how to go ahead with surgery. So during this phase, I happened to put these patients on tablets, what we call as hormone therapy. All people who have come across cancer patients must have definitely heard the name, be it tamoxifen or anastrozole. And in fact, 3 days back, I happened to operate a patient, 77-year-old. She was a diabetic on dialysis who was not willing to come out of the house in view of corona fear. So during this phase, luckily for us, she was hormone receptor positive, what we call as estrogen and progesterone receptor positive. So we happened to put her on tablet tamoxifen, and during this 3 months phase, she did not progress. In fact, her lump reduced in size, and we were able to comfortably operate her just 3 days back, and she's doing well. She's discharged also home. So there are such stories also present. So don't worry. If you have a lump, we would first try to sort you out with a video consultation, and if not, we are available here and we are taking all precautions possible to ensure your safety, to operate, to not just operate you, to even screen you up, and if necessary, then only we are going ahead with surgery. In fact, as I told you, 90% of the times it is not cancer, they are benign lumps. Like be it fibroadenoma, most common lump what we come across, breast cysts. These are cases which are not an emergency, and during this times we would prefer to wait on these cases, and once our case numbers start decreasing, then we would prefer to operate them. But if you feel or you have a family history of breast cancer and you are diagnosed to have a breast lump, it would be advisable not to wait with that lump, because if you come in early, chances of your recovery are very good. You might even, we will be able to save your breast. In fact, stage 1 diseases, stage 1 breast cancer has 90 to 95% 5-year survival, which is very good. If you sit on it or if you wait on it, there are very high chances that your stage 1 would get converted to stage 2, stage 3, making you lose a lot of golden opportunities. So please don't sit on it. If you have symptoms, there are a lot of non-COVID hospitals. We have a lot of surgeons who are dedicatedly working only to see non-COVID patients. What we need to remember that we have no answer related to corona, but we definitely know that waiting on a breast cancer is going to do us more harm. Another question is, can males also have breast cancer? Yes, they too can have, though the chances are very rare, very less. We especially see male breast cancer in those people who have a family history of breast cancer. And another important point is, if as a male you happen to notice a lump in your breast, then you should not wait, because in case of females, the breast size is more. So breast cancer gives us, the lump takes a long time to grow in size. Whereas in males, since the breast tissue is very less, we don't get time. So we have to act more fast. Can pregnancy or breastfeeding increase the risk of breast cancer? In fact, it is opposite. Pregnancy and breast cancer, we believe, are protective against breast cancer, maybe in a hardly any percent, but it is definitely protective. But another important point is, if during breastfeeding or during pregnancy you happen to notice a lump, please don't ignore it. Even during pregnancy and lactation, we have come across cases of cancer. A lot of times I get referrals from gynecologists who send me patients who had breast lumps and who were ignoring it on the ground, thinking that it must be related to milk. In simple language, बहुत बार उन्हें लगता है कि दूध की गांठ होगी. सोचने के पहले I would just suggest कि you should consult a doctor who specializes in breast related disorders to confirm whether it is a milk lump, what we commonly call as a galactosele, or it is something to worry about. Another question is, what are the common cancers in women? In India, initially cervical cancer topped the list of cancers among women, but now we are seeing breast cancer topping up the list. In fact, 1 in every 8 women has a risk of developing breast cancer. In India, we have a lot of young population, so we are seeing a lot of young females, in fact, with breast cancer. So we need to be more careful. So another thing is, Madhvi ji wants to know what is the incidence of breast cancer in India. I just mentioned to you about the 2018 data. about 1,62,000 cases being diagnosed, in a new cases being diagnosed, and a mortality rate means people who die from breast cancer is as high as 85 to 87,000. And the reason for that being, we are seeing more patients in stage 3 and stage 4. When patients come to us late, we don't have a lot of things where we can try to save them. With stage 4, now we have a lot of newer drugs which we are trying in these patients, but still, if stage 1 has a 5-year survival of 90 to 95%, if you go to stage 4, that 90 to 95% reduces drastically to 15 to 20%. So by waiting, we are not doing any benefit to us. In fact, we are putting ourselves into a more vulnerable condition. And a lot of times, we get patients who are more worried about the after treatment. Like I can see, Priyaji has asked me a question that, Madam, what about chemotherapy? We are more worried about chemotherapy since I have already undergone a surgery, but it's been 3 months, I am in lockdown, but not willing to go for chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is part of a treatment. How पहले काफी खराब था. पहले के जो हमारे drugs थे, they were not that good, not that efficient. Over time period, all of us have improvised. Today, the newer drugs which we have, they are very good. Comparatively, side effects are less. The most dreaded side effect, not in terms of the feeling, but about which all of us as females fear, is hair loss. That side effect still continues to be, but now most of our patients tolerate our chemotherapy drugs very well. In fact, now we put in a lot of chemoports. Chemoport is like a small box which is placed under the skin, so it is not even visualized, and we give all our chemotherapies to the chemoport, so our hands also don't get affected. Priyaji, in fact, I would suggest you, 3 months has been a very long period. We prefer to start chemotherapy within a month of surgery, so that to get the best of benefits, or latest by 3 months. So I would suggest you should consult back to your surgeon under whom you have got operated and take immediate advice regarding your chemotherapy. Your surgeon would refer you to a medical oncologist. These are doctors who specialize in giving chemotherapy. Priyaji, you should hurry up. You have already lost enough time. There's another patient, Mrs. Shabnam, who wants to ask me that, Madam, I underwent a breast cancer surgery while I have saved the breast and I was advised radiotherapy. I started up my radiotherapy, but after starting up the radiotherapy, after 10 days, my mother was diagnosed to be COVID positive and my entire house has been put into quarantine. So I could not complete my treatment. Now it's been 30 days that I have stopped my radiotherapy. Could you suggest to me what should I do now? Shabnam ji, you have already waited enough. The usual protocol what is followed is 14 days of isolation. You have already crossed that. Your radiotherapy center, to the best of my knowledge, what they would do is they would recheck you up with a COVID. If you are COVID negative, they would start up your radiotherapy treatment further ahead. We have changed up a lot of protocols in terms of how we were treating our patients before COVID era to now how we are treating our patients. Okay, so don't worry. Lot of newer things have come in, but if you have missed him, it's better that now you should not lose more time and go back and meet your doctor and start up your treatment again. Another question is, what are the changing trends? Yeah, as I told you, the changing trends are, we are seeing a lot of younger people. Disease-wise, we are seeing more aggressive disease. I had a patient, a young 32-year-old female, for whom I had done a breast oncoplastic surgery. Breast oncoplastic surgery means I had done a surgery. I had done a surgery while I had saved her breast, and then I had reconstructed it in such a way that her breast looked exactly like the way it was before. So this is what we are able to offer if patients are coming to us in stage 1. I think there are more questions coming up. The question is, does autoimmune disease and taking methotrexate increase the risk? With methotrexate, there are associated autoimmune related risks. We would suggest you that if you are taking methotrexate for SLE scleroderma, to consult once your rheumatologist and then decide upon whether we can go ahead. Steroids, in fact, now we are even using it for treatment of COVID. The thing is, it would suppress your immunity, so it's better you check up with your oncologist as well as with your rheumatologist before you go ahead with the treatment. We are waiting for more questions. A patient wants to know what is better, mastectomy or breast conservative surgery. There are a lot of ifs and buts with both the procedures. It would be a good thing that once you are seen in person by your doctor, they would be able to advise you better. Mastectomy, by mastectomy, we would say that it would be removal of the entire breast, and when we talk about breast conservative surgery, we would remove the lump along with an area of normal breast tissue. Here at Apex Group of Hospital, whenever we are doing a breast conservative surgery, on table we do frozen section to confirm whether we have removed the entire lump. In fact, during COVID times, we are doing all breast conservative surgeries with a frozen section so that we are 100% sure that we don't have to take up the patient again for surgery. And we are sure that our margins are 100% negative. We at the same time are doing the reconstruction. Depending upon what stage you are presenting, what type of cancer it is, if your cancer is large in size, if it consists of duct carcinoma in situ, which is an early stage, but it has spread out throughout your breast, then in that case, you would definitely need a mastectomy. But if it is a small cancer and you're a young patient, you wish to save your breast, most important thing is willingness to undergo radiotherapy. Having an availability of radiotherapy close by to your house would be at least my main criteria before I offer you breast conservative surgery. Because if I'm doing a breast cancer surgery after saving your breast, and if you don't take radiotherapy, chances of you to have a reoccurrence would be very high, and we would see a reoccurrence very soon. So radiotherapy is must if we are doing a breast conservative surgery. So be sure that you are willing for it if you are opting out. Now we are seeing a lot of young patients who want to conserve their breast because they are unmarried and for a lot of other reasons. So even if their lump is a little large in size, we are downstaging these lumps by either putting them on chemotherapy. A lot of times we complete our entire chemotherapy 6 to 8 cycles, and then we take up these patients for surgery. We put a marker so that at a later date, even if the lump goes away with the chemotherapy, we can still plan to operate these patients. Or we would give it at a later date. Sometimes we are even using hormone therapy, what we call as tamoxifen or anastrozole, to downstage these tumors and then operate across. Another question which has come up is it possible to treat without surgery? Till date, we have not reached where it is possible to treat breast cancer without surgery. Surgery is an important part. Only thing is, lot of times now we are giving chemotherapy or hormone therapy before surgery to downstage the tumor, and then we are operating. But till now, surgery is must and it has not undergone any changes. A patient wants to know that I have undergone chemotherapy and I've just completed it a month back. So what about my hair? I have lost all my hair. Will my hair come back? डोंट वरी प्रेरणा जी, आपके बाल वापस आ जाएंगे. इनफैक्ट अगर आप न्यूट्रिशनली अच्छे से खा पी रहे हैं, वी वुड से अगर आप eggs which is a rich source of protein, chicken which is again a rich source of protein, and for vegetarian people soya bean is a rich source of protein along with all dals is what I would recommend you. You should have that, which would help for faster hair growth. But be sure आपको definitely बाल आ जाएंगे. So don't worry on that aspect. Namita ji wants to know, how can I prevent myself from breast cancer? I have a family history. Namita ji, अभी तक हमारे पास प्रिवेंशन के लिए कोई वैक्सीन नहीं आया है. Only thing which I recommend every time I give a talk or whenever I meet with somebody like you who wants to know prevention is early detection is the key. And for early detection, we recommend all females above the age of 18, 18 साल की उम्र के बाद, with the tips of your fingers on the 5th day of your menstrual cycle. Practically speaking, anywhere between 5th to 12th day of your menstrual cycle. At that time your breasts are very soft, so it is very easy to pick up if there is any new change. With the tips of your fingers you should start examining your breast right from the clavicle bone to lower down. If you have big breasts which are drooping down, then you can even lift the breast and examine. आपको ₹1 के जैसे गोलाकार करके you are supposed to examine your entire breast from your beauty bowl which is up to lower down, and from the center of your body to outside. In fact, axilla, underarms is an area where we miss lot of breast lumps. Another area where we miss is the blackish brownish portion on our breast, which we commonly call as nipple areola complex. Lot of lumps behind the nipple areola complex are missed by us. So underarms and behind nipple areola complex are two areas where we have to take more care. If while examining, every month when you start examining, you will know what is normal for you. In fact, normal for you and me would be different. In fact, both our breasts would not be of the same size. Some people have one breast bigger, some people have one breast smaller. So it would be better that once you start examining every month, you would know what is normal for you. And in case if you pick up something abnormal, you should immediately meet a breast surgeon in your area and get yourself examined. Don't ignore it. If you happen to meet a doctor early, your results, your prognosis, your 5-year survival, everything is going to be good. And you will be able to lead a near normal life. And for all those of you who have a risk, need to be more careful. Mamta ji wants to know, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Mamta ji, it would be imperative to know आपकी मम्मी को क्या एज में ब्रेस्ट कैंसर हुआ था. हम यूजुअली जिन्हें ब्रेस्ट कैंसर हुआ था 40 years, तो हम 10 years पहले से स्क्रीनिंग स्टार्ट करते हैं. Otherwise we recommend after the age of 40 years, once in 2 years at least you should get a mammogram done, and after the age of 50 years, every year you should get a mammogram done. And as far as self breast examination is concerned, which I explained earlier, that you should keep doing every month so that you can pick up all these changes. Priyanka, she wants to know I have a family history of breast cancer. Can I get myself screened with the latest test BRCA1, BRCA2 available? BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene came into vogue with the actress Angelina Jolie being diagnosed with it. Ideally speaking, BRCA1, BRCA2 testing or your genetic testing should first be done of the patient who suffers or suffered from breast cancer, and if she is positive, then it would be helpful for us to screen the female members in the family if even they are positive. If she herself is negative, then it does not make sense that we screen the entire family for breast cancer. And it's a good question. So I would even like to emphasize on which group of breast cancer patients should get themselves screened for all these genetic tests. Any patient less than 40 years who is diagnosed with breast cancer, any patient who has more than two members, family members on the same side of the family lineage, means if on the mother's side or father's side with breast cancer, if a patient has bilateral breast cancer, then she is at the risk. If a patient has a family member with both breast and ovarian cancer, then there is a risk. If the patient has multiple members who even have breast and prostate cancer, then again the risk is there. So these are patients who would be at a higher risk, and with these patients we would recommend them to undergo a genetic testing. Now it is easily available, so we are doing it for a lot of patients. Okay, Priya ji wants to know that is it possible? Now, I have a friend who was diagnosed with breast cancer, operated, but she did not undergo chemotherapy. Is that possible? There are a lot of elderly patients where the cancer is hormone receptor positive, in which cases we don't need chemotherapy. Lot of times we have oral drugs like the way we have for blood pressure, diabetes, which can be given to these patients and they can have it comfortably. Namrata. Okay. Namrata ji wants to know that I have been taking tamoxifen for last 8 years. What should I worry about while taking tamoxifen? Namrata ji, tamoxifen is a very good drug which we use as hormone therapy for our breast cancer patients. Whenever I prescribe tamoxifen to any of my patients, I always inform them that there are few risks associated with tamoxifen. One such risk is a risk of developing endometrial cancer. So I always tell my patient that if after menopause, if you again develop menstrual symptoms, you should immediately come back, and we ask all these patients to undergo yearly gynecological examination so that we are sure that they are not developing any symptoms related to endometrial cancer. Another thing is a lot of these patients have coagulation issues, means they can develop something known as DVT. In simple Hindi, if I tell you, पैर में गुठलियां डेवलप होती है एंड वो कभी कभी क्रॉसओवर होकर अगर लंग तक पहुंच जाती है तो हम उन्हें पल्मोनरी एम्बोलिज्म कहते हैं. Both these conditions are life threatening, so we always ask our patients to be careful about it, and we ask them to be mobile and not to be restricted to the house. Another newer drug which we are prescribing now instead of tamoxifen is anastrozole. We commonly call it as letrozole. The advantage of this drug over tamoxifen is it's a newer drug. Its efficacy means its results in treating breast cancer is much better than tamoxifen. So now you would definitely ask me, then why are we not giving to all our patients this drug? This drug has a side effect of it weakening the bones. So before prescribing this drug, we always get a bone scan done. So once a bone scan is done, we know the status of the bones. If the bones are in a healthy condition, we prescribe this drug. Still, when the patient is taking this drug, there is a risk of developing fractures as the bones become more fragile. So whenever we prescribe this drug, we also give to the patient osteophos, calcium and vitamin D in conjunction. So we have to take care of these drugs also. Okay. I have got another question from Sangeeta ji. She wants to know that how would you check whether I am COVID free or no if a patient is coming to a hospital? To check if a patient has to undergo per se routine screening, we are just screening with the temperature guard, and if the temperature is well in control, we are asking these patients to come to us for consultation. If there is any issue with the temperature, we send them to a separate fever clinic. And before the surgery, for all our patients, we are getting a COVID test done. Though it is nowhere documented related to chest X-ray and HRCT, we are still advising this to our patients. Lot of times we can pick up opacities on a chest X-ray, even on, in fact, HRCT, though not recommended, but we believe that HRCT helps us pick up at a very early stage if a patient has COVID-related issues. Luckily for us, all our cancer patients who have nodes in the underarm, in simple language, who have axillary nodes, undergo something known as PET scan, that is CT scan of the whole body. So if somebody has a nodule on the lung, we can pick it up. That if after getting treated in the hospital, I turn out to be COVID positive, then what is my prognosis? Agreed. That risk definitely exists. Even if you're walking on the street, you definitely have a risk of developing COVID. Anywhere except for home, we are not safe if all your contacts at home are also safe. So in that case, if you have come to the hospital, you have undergone a surgery, and at a later date you test out to be COVID positive, let me tell you, 85% of the times it is possible that you are asymptomatic. And even if you're symptomatic detected early, our results of major issues or death, what we are seeing is hardly 6 to 7%. So most of the times it is possible for us to have our patients recover from COVID-19. Though from our end we are trying to ensure maximum possible care so that none of our patients develop. I think I have crossed my time. So thank you very much for watching me today on FB Live. And I'm extremely thankful for all the viewers for posting such interesting questions. And last but not the least, I'm thankful to Apex Group of Hospitals for not just providing us with a non-COVID setup to continue operating our patients safely during this difficult COVID times. At the end, I would just request, let's be safe and let's go ahead with early detection. So if you notice any issues with the breast, come down and see us immediately, or any nearby breast surgeon. Thank you very much.